Yeah.
rules
Wait,
and stream policy.
we're reading it again?
Yes, we actually end up reading it before every single stream because it's funny. I pretend it's like
From
the
now
first time.
on. Yeah, no, we gotta do it the exact same way where we don't know who's gonna read it and then just kind of thrust it on
That's
me
what
to
we do
do
every
it.
single time. We pretend like it's just like appeared out of nowhere and we haven't seen it before. Okay. I click it. Who's reading this?
Wait. I'm gonna read the
I
screen.
can.
Well.
Who would read such a thing?
Garfield,
I will.
Garfield, you had burst.
Garfield?
As the
Big chungus.
Tate, you had burst.
I hate you all. As the development team, we have no problem with full playthroughs of the game, whether recorded or streamed. However, please be aware that the soundtrack contains numerous licensed tracks that may trigger automatic copyright detection on various video platforms. This may result in issues with video monetization or audio muting in VODs, but should not negatively impact your channel as a whole.
Alright, good to know. Good to know. I don't
Good
want
to know, yeah.
negative
This is
feedback
my
right
first
now.
time ever hearing about this, thankfully. I was wondering why I got copyright claims in my,
By Nintendo of all things.
Yeah, it is quite weird, huh? Anyways, you know what I should do now? I should stop streaming and then reopen it and then we can read this again.
Okay. Now launch of the place.
We already have one
we
viewer.
have-
What the fuck is going on?
We have.
It's
we have-
probably yourself.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right,
We
so
have
have you
things
guys
to
have you
discuss.
guys have you guys thought of what we should do?
No.
No.
No, we're supposed to deliberate it here, not right here and not right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the smart
No,
choice
no,
is
no, let's
probably using the
recap.
elevator.
Listen, let's recap. So
Okay.
currently, we are being hunted down by Sai,
Mhm.
who sucks at running
Mhm.
with a knife.
The small little twink
But-
he is.
Yeah,
Thank God it wasn't Akiro.
But we have been awake for so long, and we are tired, and we may not be able to run much longer.
It has been less than 24 hours since last stream. And we've all been awake through all of it.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah.
It's funny.
We've been sitting here for 23
We've been
hours.
wondering. We
Yeah.
still haven't been able to make up our mind.
Guys, hear me out. If we go down to like the crystal floor, do you guys reckon how fast is the elevator? Do you guys think Sai will be able to like just press the button and like stop us?
Well, I think it's more if you continue running down. I'm honestly more worried about Shiroya and Atsuki like running out of energy.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
it makes more sense to
That's
just like
the
take the
problem.
gamble and use the elevator at this point.
Inferno, what are your thoughts?
I was also gonna take the elevator.
You
I
know
was
what?
also
Fuck
thinking
all of
about
you
the
guys. I'm
elevator,
gonna go down the stairs. So boring taking the sensible option.
Goofy.
All right. Well, if we die, it's your fault. We could also just save scum, but that's okay.
No, because the previous time we died, they just
Yeah.
put us back in the pit.
Yeah, so this is an illusion of free choice. The last
Yeah.
time we did this, the other option just we died and then we immediately came back here. So
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't.
yes,
Yeah.
That
this
does
is the
not matter.
illusion of free choice.
Yeah, it's 1984.
Yeah, Genshin Impact dialogue.
All right. That's hype.
All right, so I guess we enter the elevator.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sure.
I think
let's
Yeah.
go.
I could
we
also
actually
flip
end
a
up
coin.
surviving, we'll go back to the save and try the other option and die there. If we end up surviving this.
Yeah. All right.
the last time this happened, we died. We died the last time.
Who reads the narration? Thank you.
I can start.
Okay.
The world froze. However, strangely, movement was still within.
Ultimately, and just before stepping into the third floor, Atsuki changed his mind. He was exhausted, and at that point, the elevator seemed safe.
It is so over.
It's over.
It's so over.
It's you.
One
Third person.
second. I'll try to open the door.
Yeah. When we're like seeing Natsuki from third person, he's green apparently.
I see.
Shara had also been thinking about it, but she hadn't thought that Atsuki would attempt to use it. It was next to the staircase, so it didn't take him very long to confirm it. The elevator was still on the third floor and hadn't been disabled. He opened it and its empty interior came into their view.
All right, get in.
The motorcycle catched them, both of them boarded the elevator. They had enough time to press a button that was yet another decision to make. They looked at the panel and decided to touch one of the 8 available buttons.
Ain't no way.
Oh, shit!
Ain't
Another
no way.
choice.
Option number 2. Go back to the attic and lock yourselves in a bedroom.
Staying
So we
inside the
tried-
elevator is wild.
Both of these options suck.
They do.
Bro, what? They literally just said, one of the 8 available options.
One of the 8 available options. There's so
Let me
8
disregard like the other 6. Actually, there's other 7 because like staying inside is like the 9th option. What do you guys want to do? Wouldn't it be funny if we stayed inside?
Either way, we're screwed.
Yeah, we are. What do we do? I need democracy in here, chat.
I don't know. So we tried the last option. Not the last option. We tried the first option of going to the attic and locking ourselves up. He busted in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
So-
but if you stay in the elevator, he's just gonna call it.
You're gonna
and then
open the
stab you.
door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of these are fucking stupid. So which one
So
is the less stupid option? Is the real question.
Going back to the
No.
attic.
I guess we can hope that he forgot his method of unlocking the door.
I guess, sure.
Or if we stay inside the elevator, if we somehow fool him, because I don't think he hasn't seen us. Does he know that we're in the elevator?
Does he
I don't know. We epic prank him.
Yeah, that's actually kind of
what if-
okay. That could actually work. Staying inside the elevator.
What if we stay in the elevator and we just constantly keep pressing random buttons? Like we press 7, he climbs up all the way back to the 5th floor. We press 1, and then we go down.
Well,
Just keep stalling it.
You're right. All right.
Stay inside the elevator.
This is
Save
the
the game
dumbest
first.
thing that you could do, but it's gonna work.
Save the
Watch.
game. Save the game.
It's
Save
actually
the game. Save the game.
Well, I already have a save from like 2 seconds ago. But
Yeah, but it's still fine.
okay.
It's over, bro.
Stay inside.
We're dead. We're dead.
When Atsuki ran down, it was just me in front of the red. When Atsuki ran down through all the buttons, he realized there was one he hadn't considered. Above the others, a red button with the word "Stop" immediately grabbed his attention.
Stop. We can be safe if we lock ourselves here.
Oh,
He's so smart.
Shiroya's eyes widened with amazement. Both of them had failed to recall its existence. They fought back on Kate's words. He told them that if the button was pressed while the elevator was moving, only an entity from outside the tower could enable it again. Before Sai had the time to arrive and open the door, Atsuki rushed to press the floor 4 button. That was solely done to begin motion, since stopping it while stationary must have left the outer button functional. As soon as they departed the third floor, Atsuki pressed the stop button. Without any delay, the whole structure abruptly ceased moving and kept itself suspended between the third and fourth floors.
There we go. It worked.
Both of them breathed with relief. An inaccessible elevator in the middle of an inaccessible tunnel. They'd reached the safest position within the tower.
Like Kate said, no connection with the outside occurred because it's something the alarm disabled. We'll have to wait until the front door opens to be rescued, but that's more than okay.
Shiroya agreed with a faint voice. They knew that they had slightly more than 3 hours to go, and a narrow elevator was all the space that they had. Deciding to rest as the best they could, they put their shoes on and let their bodies drop until they sat on the floor.
Where have they been keeping their shoes this whole time? Like in their
Yeah,
pockets
they've
or
been
something?
Yeah, they've
carried.
had them on their hands.
Yeah.
They've been running with shoes, extra weight, making it harder for you to run. Okay, good job, video game.
No, it makes noise. That's what they didn't want. It makes noise.
Yeah,
No, like
I mean it's
I
not
would
like
just like the
it's not like
second I
the.
take up my shoes, I would just like leave it where it was. Whatever.
I mean,
I
the
guess.
shoes don't weigh enough for it to matter too much.
Yeah.
I guess. I get that they want to make like less noise.
I wonder, will we suffocate to death?
I think because
No.
why aren't we gonna be stuck here for more than a month?
After the elevator had stopped, not the faintest external sound had been heard. Their
Wait,
bodies
wasn't
were
it
still.
Mm,
Zen's turn?
It was
Zen just read.
just a second here. Yeah,
So, is it my turn? Pretty
it's
sure.
you.
It is
It's
your
you,
turn. I'm
yes.
pretty
Yeah.
sure it is.
Okay. Yeah, their bodies were still tired, so despite the long wait, they knew that they could wait through it with ease. Leaning on opposite corners, they let their bodies loose and starting to feel their heartbeats slow down. Both of them wanted to talk to the other, but didn't do so. Instead, they used their imaginations to explore what they'd do after escaping. Shreya had been living in Atsuki's house for a week, and they never set an end date. She hoped she could stay with him for a bit longer without being a bother. In the meantime, Atsuki's mind kept going to where they talked about hours previously. It had been so long since they had visited their old cabin that he felt a really strong desire to go back there with her. But he knew what had been happening around them. He knew that for some reason Sai wanted them dead. He'd somehow acquired a knife and abused the Sekimeiya's powers. It was very unlikely he could reach their position, but depending on his true motives, the chase might have continued even after exiting the tower. After all, it appeared the cameras hadn't been working, and with the aid of the Sekimeiya, Sai could have known how to avoid being caught by the police. Even if they outsmarted him once, it was impossible to feel at peace yet. Why hasn't Shroya said anything?
Because both of them are
Because
quietly
they-
just thinking to themselves.
Yeah, they don't want.
I know, but like earlier, when Atsuki was talking.
Yeah, she said
average-
lines in narration, but not like in dialogue.
average
Weird.
average Shiroi moment.
She went
Average
back to
Shiroi
default
is-
settings.
Minutes started to pass. Not that they had reached their ears, but as soon as they were between two floors, was not really even a loud sound could have. Every now and then, they raised their heads to check on each other. Was it possible to keep a comfortable position, so they continued slightly adjusting themselves? As soon as Sasuke realized that he was so thirsty, he knew he wouldn't be able to get it out of his mind. He was about to attempt some small talk by saying if it stopped themselves, could have made sure to feel the same way. A few more minutes went by. Asuki didn't know how long they'd been in the elevator. Without a watch, even how tired they were, it was far too difficult to tell. Any range from 10 to 20 minutes seemed possible to him.
But a sudden, dark atmosphere began to creep up on them. With a broken sense of time, Atsuki remembered one of the most mysterious events they'd experienced. They had listened to a recording that had claimed that the exit would never open, that the alarm's effects would be permanent. When he'd made the rush decision of activating the emergency stop function of the elevator, he hadn't thought of it. If it was legitimate, nobody was going to let them out. When the thought came to him, Atsuki's heart began to speed up again.
That's sure I thought of it. He couldn't tell her. In less than a minute, the claustrophobic sensation had begun to invade Atsuki's body. Are you okay?
Yes, don't worry.
Shuya noticed he'd started to take deeper and fast breaths. Their decision was irreversible, but the process to learn if it had been the correct one was what began to assault Atsuki. Had his finger already sealed their fate? He didn't know how much longer they'd have to wait to find out. Atsuki began to sweat nervously as he'd imagined the terrifying scenarios they could have already caught themselves in. How long till 9 p.m.? If they could be sure that at that point, if they could be sure that point in time would mark the end to their suffering, reaching it wouldn't be an issue. As soon as Atsuki had thought of the not unlikely worst scenario, though, every second had begun to feel unbearable.
Would they die inside the elevator if help never came? It should have been impossible. After all, if the recording was legitimate, then they'd spend a month in the tower. It must have also been true that Atsuki would survive until it occurred. However, what about Shiraya? She hadn't been mentioned in it. Oski was used to feeling betrayed by his own mind. Shiraya had been wearing a neutral expression, but if in 3 hours nothing happened, what would it morph into? Would he be the only one to survive after seeing his friend deteriorate? The rational part of him denied it. There was no food anywhere, and none of them could survive for so long. Yet he couldn't relieve any of his worries.
He stood up and stretched his body as much as he could. Maintaining the verbal silence, he sat back down. His mind begged for noise. The lack of anything else happening driving him mad. He wasn't sure how much longer they had to wait for. Perhaps he'd been inside for half an hour. As much as he wanted the time to pass, he knew an inevitable time would come. Almost 21 sharp. The uncertain period of time in which nothing would be known. Was it past 21 sharp and they were already doomed? Was the way out about to unlock? How could they know? If it was surely never going to open, when would they know it? Would they have to wait for 6 hours before being sure that their perception of time hadn't shattered?
He didn't know what to think. Nearby, Sai might have been trying to find a way to kill them. Could it be that he wouldn't let the exit open precisely to achieve that? The tendency Atsuki had to overthink everything made for the perfect paranoid mind. Beyond everything, thinking about a reality in which they'd be trapped here forever, sharing a long and agonizing end while he could only blame himself, was the most petrifying conclusion he could imagine. And it wouldn't occur. He had spent the past few minutes with eyes closed when he opened them after a sudden noise.
Man.
Wait,
What? What?
ain't no way. He looked up. A knife had been stabbed into his chest, one gripped by a hand. When it was taken out, blood began to pour out of him, wetting his shirt. A cold and simultaneously hot pain invaded his whole torso. He couldn't comprehend what had happened, and looked at the blood in disbelief. Then, his gaze turned onto Shiroya's expression. It was one he'd never seen on her. His mind fell into disarray as he frantically looked around the cramped space. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. The situation was so laughable that he couldn't bring himself to scream or utter a word.
No shot. Flickering shreds of sound began to fill his ears with his sight blackened. No, why? Those words echoed within himself, unable to be released. He opened his eyes to confirm it one more time. Indeed, what he saw was a
Was it
senseless
Shiroya?
It had to have been. Every scenario he'd thought of had been erased. Because, the thing is, it just said it was an expression he's never seen before.
Yeah. Unless it
Atsuki-
means that she's dead.
Maybe. Atsuki felt a disconnect from reality. How would he see the body? And as if his body had been hijacked. Without the strength to resist, he gave out on keeping hold of himself, and as soon as he collapsed to the ground, he was still standing. His consciousness burst like a bubble.
Ain't no way we got the bad ending. Personal paradox?
What do you mean?
What does this mean?
So, okay, this is just even more speculation. What the heck?
I don't know. If Sai doesn't have the ability to go through walls, it must have been Shiroya.
If it's a paradox, so Atsuki wasn't meant to die, but he,
Wait, do we try the elevator again?
Actually, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Load.
We're definitely going to get stabbed in the chest by Sai this time, but
Mm-hmm. It is fun.
Guys, Sai would never think of this. We will just go back up again.
I think it's Inferno.
Probably.
Yes.
Asuki's plan was simple. He wanted to take advantage of the distance they gained from Sai. Rather than trick him.
Don't die,
He thought
thank
it-
you.
I'm actually being stabbed by Sai IRL.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm stabbing you. I'm killing you right now.
I am killing you. I
I'm-
don't care. I am killing you. Right. Perhaps they could trick him. He thought they were going to continue to run down, so if they went back up, Sai might have thought they'd already turned toward the partitions. In addition, they knew the elevator couldn't be heard if it arrived at or left the floor one couldn't be heard if it arrived at or left the floor one was on. With eyes almost closed, Oski waited a few seconds so that Sai would have time to arrive and miss the sound. Meanwhile, he reached into Shura's purse to grab the attic key and used it to unlock the floor 7 button, which he confidently pressed.
This is definitely not gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know what we thought about it.
Well, that's his personal paradox. Is like Oski like fated to die at the end of the time. Is that it?
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, because it's like it was either Shiroya or he caused a paradox, which ended him just dying.
And the reason why it's a paradox is there was nothing to kill him, even though he was like supposed to die. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Man, visual novels are complicated.
True.
Complicated.
Anyway, who was reading this again?
Me.
Inferno.
Have fun reading Inferno.
I already read it.
I know.
But what was really crossing Atsuki's mind? Had that been the plan he designed the designer on? Sai must have known the elevator was available and using it would have seized the echoing footsteps. At the sight, Shura couldn't help but be confused by the action he'd chosen to take.
Me too. I hate that it's come to this, but we can't escape from Sai for more than 3 hours. We have to put all our faith into locking ourselves in a bedroom.
Shroya was speechless at his sudden change, but she couldn't object to him. She decided not to reply and trusted the decision of her oldest friend had made to save both of their lives.
Up there, we'll set the chain and physically prevent the door from opening. Even if Sai has the key, he won't be able to break the door down in case he enters. We can try to use something to defend ourselves. Or moving the bed in front.
Yeah, they should do what I've been telling them for like the past 2 streams at this point. Come on! They had seen Sai's
visual. See, visual novel people tend to be dumb for no reason.
True, except in the Muneko, then they're pretty smart.
Oh
Got him! Anyway, they had seen Sai's new murderous expression and felt how strongly he desired their eradication. Even though the physical demand was high, keeping a chain door from opening was much more reasonable than perpetually running away.
Then?
The elevator stopped and began to slowly open its doors. The trip had created a great deal of tension that was released when they burst out of it. They were back in the hallway they were back in the hallway they'd just escaped from, but they'd shifted their goal.
Uh-oh.
They ran, ignoring the turns they'd previously handled with care. They wanted to enter the bedroom, which they began to see as their only salvation. Both open doors were in sight. Only the right one possessed a chain, so they didn't hesitate over which one to enter. Running, the lack of friction between Atsuki's socks and the wooden flooring almost made him trip, but he managed to steady himself. Shiroya made her way in first and immediately shut the door as soon as Atsuki joined her.
Push the bed! Please!
On the left side of the door, the chain began to swing in response to the abrupt slam. As Atsuki hurried to check these drawers, Shiroya's trembling arm set the chain, recalling how unreliable it had been in the past. Do you see the key?
Atsuki remembered he had left it in the highest drawer of the stand. Yes, he let out a cry of joy when he saw it hadn't been taken. Their chances of surviving had just drastically increased. But nothing had been settled. While holding the key, the nightmare sound of a bursting door
Akaro smash!
Akaro!
When he turned around, he saw Shiroya's body being knocked away. Man.
What? Sai borrowed his powers?
He is so fast.
Past the door, the terrifying silhouette of Sai paralyzed Atsuki's mind. The knife was still gripped in his right hand, and as soon as he saw Atsuki's defeated expression, Sai grinned.
Want a kiss?
On the floor, Shiroya yelled desperately, but Sai ignored her. He began to approach Atsuki, who stared at him in regret. He hadn't even had time to grab the screwdriver. Stop.
I think that was the narrator. Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. Damn.
Okay. Stop. Shifuya cried again, but anything she could say was meaningless to Sai, who was certain of her fate. Aski's hands let go of his shoes and he made his first step backwards, inevitably backing himself to the wall. When he made eye contact with his fellow, he noticed Sai had a bit of blood in his mouth. Trust driven information had become utterly pointless, but he thought that blood might have dripped off him sometime in the past. He made no attempt at putting that information to use. His mind had broken and he couldn't move. He realized his reckless action had resulted in not only his own death, but Shifuya's. She placed her hand on the floor and did stand up. Seeing no time, she launched herself towards Sai, whose mother's aura had spoken every
That's
minute.
what I'm saying, bro. Sai is a twink. He is a twink. It's a 2v1. We beat his ass. Who cares if he gets stabbed
It's
a little?
two
It's
people.
fine.
It's fine. Yeah, as long as it doesn't like hurt you too much. No. You might just
Jump his
survive.
ass.
Jump. When Akro comes in though, we're fucked. you
Yeah,
know?
it was awkward. There's no chance.
Yeah, but you know what you do? You just distract him with like stuff. You know, like you throw like a flare or
Yeah,
something behind him. He's like,
give-
"What's that?" He like gets like a fucking exclamation mark over his head. You know, like a fucking AAA game, stealth mechanics, fucking as like
Give
Assassin's
it-
Creed.
Give him a banana and he just forgives you.
Exactly.
What do they mean by this?
It's like fucking Skyrim stealth. Like Akro looks at you, like crouch for like 2 seconds. He's like, I guess nobody was there after all.
Must have been the way.
Once again, she was ignored and instead Sai dashed forward. Atsuki had no time to even react.
His name.
Oh, it's Jover for it.
It's over.
It is Jover. When he looked down, he saw the knife had pierced through his stomach. So this is how being stabbed feels. Such a ridiculous thought was all that crossed his mind. The sensation surprised him, as it hadn't been as painful as he'd expected. But his body crumpled down, unable to keep supporting itself. From a lower perspective, he saw that Sai's face had become even more warped. Behind him, Shroya broke down. She reached for Atsuki, but Sai did not allow it. Mercilessly, he moved his arm in an arc, drawing a long horizontal cut to Shroya's chest. Inwardly, Atsuki cried in anguish, but Sai frowned. After having instinctively reacted to Shroya's attempt at aiding Atsuki, he looked at his second victim in disbelief. What? He sounded surprised, but soon snapped out of it. Before Atsuki could make a last effort at understanding why it had to be finished off like that, Sai jumped back at him and stabbed him a second time. And then a third, and then a fourth. All of them felt much more painful, but he couldn't move. You brought this on yourself, you fucking idiot! Those words were received as static noise. An irreversible cloudiness began to fill Atsuki's consciousness, and eventually his brain stopped interpreting the slashes of blood as that every step produced, shortly cutting off forever. 28 stab wounds!
His name. We died again.
Let's
Pendulum.
go.
Interesting.
Well, we now know what not to do.
Don't
Don't
take
go
the
to the
fucking elevator!
Do not use the elevator.
Yep,
I
we
can't
continue
believe
running down.
Shiraya's dead.
I can't believe the witch shall not use the elevator.
Entering the elevator was too risky. That was my final conclusion. There was no way Sai hadn't been prepared for it. We set foot on the third floor. I glanced at my right and saw the shut elevator. That meant it probably hadn't been disabled, giving off a further feeling of a trap. I saw the bathrooms again as well. We had the opportunity to lock ourselves up in one, but I doubted the inner lock would be able to withstand the force of someone turning a key from the outside. Ignoring both options, we continued running forward. Sai had probably been waiting for us inside the partition of the previous floor, so right next to them was hair-raising. Behind us, Sai's noisy attempts at catching up began to be heard across the whole floor. We had to put distance between us to good use. 2 screens, Inferno, go.
When we arrived on the second floor, my limbs began to tremble. Pushed harder than I had ever expected.
Oh, actually, this is not me. This is Pat.
Fat.
You're right. We should probably go to the event room to see if the Sekimeiya is still there.
Sure, I didn't react to my words, but we continue to make our way through the floor. There was another reason why the event room had to be our target. If Cypher was our only attacker, for as long as we circled in and out of it, we wouldn't be caught. Of course, we could do that for the remaining 3 hours, but it was better than putting ourselves in the corner.
I never knew that Sai was British.
That's what I'm saying.
He just stabs people average day in London. The final staircase was just ahead of us. We'd begun to slow down, but Sai hadn't been able to close the gap between us. We could hear his footsteps still descending the previous flight of stairs. He is so bad. When we crossed the door in the middle of the staircase, we saw the floor of hallway A. Without hesitating, we kept running toward the door in the middle.
There was another drop of blood on the floor of hallway C.
What?
It looks recent too.
Akro might have been killed as well.
Yeah.
Had someone been occasionally bleeding small drops for 2 hours, I had no time to wonder about it as I pushed open the door in front of us.
Pat.
Okay, my bad. The dark room, the covered cabinet appeared camouflaged by the walls. Drawn by its overwhelming aura, I grabbed the bottom of the curtain and lifted it.
Egg.
Really?
Egg.
Egg.
What do we do?
The Sekimeiya was behind the glass. Neither the mysterious Shiroya nor Sai had taken.
Bro, it's behind the glass, but is it behind a spun glass?
Insane. They really spun it, bro.
I tried to open it, which confirmed that our lock was still in effect. Only the key would deliver the Sekimeiya back to us. That's really weird. And Akira or Sai must have had. Even though another Sekimeiya might have existed, there is no guarantee.
Maybe the glass is not very resilient. Could we like take something out and like break the glass with it? Maybe like an object of some
Yeah,
sort?
it's spun glass.
Yeah, it's a spinning glass, bro. How hard could it be?
Yeah. So we could just like break the glass. Sure, the police would probably be quite mad, but as long it's just glass. As long as we return the actual item, it's fine. Who cares about
Bro,
the glass?
who cares about the police?
True, true.
We can't keep running away forever, but there's no safe place.
At first trying to think, but I'm not preventing me from doing so. And there was nothing we can do but keep running to escape from Sai. I think they could be somewhere, but we can't enter any of the rooms to find it, or we could be backing ourselves into a
Shroya, break the glass.
Shiroya smash!
Shroya, spin the glass, please. Thank you.
The incense outside hadn't been audible since we arrived on the crystal floor.
Let's go. I don't know where, but at least we should at least be in a hallway to anticipate him better.
The hallway B door had been closed. We rushed to it, but our thoughtless action immediately proved to be fatal.
There we go. They were really starting to tire me out,
Bitch.
As soon as we tried to
That's 7.
leave, Sai's body collided with mine at full speed. I was knocked down and fell by his feet. When his terrifying voice made me look up, I saw the knife we'd been running from, pointed toward me and close to my face.
Sai, what the fuck are you doing?
I knew I couldn't run away. Behind me, I could feel Shroya's trembling legs. She could still have made an escape, but the shaking she transmitted through my back crushed that hope. Tell me, Atsuki, what do you think I'm doing? His face shifted into an unsettling smile while he slowly brought the knife closer to me.
Please stop. Why do you want to kill us?
Us? Don't worry, I was only chasing Atsuki. I'm not gonna be the one to kill you.
Do you mean someone else will?
Akuro, smash!
He breaks through the wall.
Shut the fuck up. There's no way she'll die.
Oh, I guess you haven't seen it. I thought for sure you had.
What?
Let me make it clear for you. My fellow Americans, let me be clear. let me make it clear for you. Shiroya's fate is death. She's close to dying, and I will be the cause behind it if I have to be. Unfortunately, you won't get to see it. You brought this upon yourself for being so fucking stupid.
This is a big fan.
I seemed to grow bigger as it approached me. Was I truly about to die without understanding anything in that pathetic position?
Wait, stop!
Tell me, at least. Why do you want to kill me?
I ain't killing you.
Krill issue. I started to use my arms to drag myself backwards, so I followed my movements with his knife, his expression growing lost. Answer me.
No, just let him go. He hasn't done anything.
Yet.
You stay right there.
For the first time, Sai's voice wavered. Why? Did he realize something? Then he stared at my eyes with the most incensed and serious expression I'd seen on him.
I'll ask again. Why do you think?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Bro is so stupid. I continued to move back, and he stopped following me.
My theory
And I
was
separated
correct.
myself enough from him. I stood up, but I couldn't run away. I got into the corner of the room, so trying to escape could have been a huge mistake.
Are you okay?
I nodded uncertainly. Keeping her eyes on Sai, she walked up to me, giving up on her easy way out. Sai's words has made it sound as if he didn't present a direct threat to Shiroya, so I didn't immediately tell her to stop. When I looked at Sai with a clearer mind, I saw something of importance that stood out. There was a bit of blood in his mouth. Immediately, I associated it with the drops we'd found.
Why is your mouth bleeding? When did that happen?
After looking down for a few seconds, he lifted his head back up, showing that his imposing expression hadn't faded away. Are you laughing at me?
What? No, why?
To answer your question not more than 30 minutes ago.
Oh.
Was that supposed to mean something? The way he said it made it sound like a hidden meaning had been behind those words.
I thought you might have left some blood behind, like that drop, for example.
I put it at the floor where the fully dried up drop was.
I don't know where that came from, but it's not mine. That has been there for longer than 30 minutes.
Thought so. Did you stop trying to kill me? I don't understand what you're doing. Dog.
Shut up.
Unable to feel relief yet, Shiroya and I looked at each other. Had Sai been trying to kill me for something he'd thought I'd done? His murderous aura had previously seemed incredibly determined, but it had greatly faded in response to a few confused words. He looked pensive out of nowhere and glanced around the room. Suddenly, in visible shock, his whole body went one step backward.
Something happened?
Atsuki, tell me something. What time do you think it is?
Right now, it should be around 1740.
You bozo, it's been a month! Okay, never mind. You're right. My watch says it's 1741, and I'm sure it's correct.
Does that tell you anything?
I suppose so, but I'm not sure what.
What?
Huh?
What the fuck? Did he think I'd say an incorrect time?
Do you know where Akuro is?
That son of a bitch? No idea.
Did something happen between you two? You escaped the bedroom together. How did you do it?
Try to figure out yourself.
Akira smashed.
Telling you if anything of what I might have concluded wouldn't be smart. Don't think Akuro is with us anymore, though he might have escaped.
What? Using the Sekimeiya?
Yeah, most likely.
A few minutes after you two left, Akiro came back to the bedroom.
I think that was
Excuse
supposed to be me,
me?
actually.
That's supposed to be him, but it's him talking.
Yeah, it was voice line.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't see that dash. I'm so stupid.
key is so bad.
Yeah, he said he didn't remember having left it, but he disappeared again without unsetting the chain.
What the fuck? Don't tell me you believed him. I knew he could try to enter the storeroom door, but I haven't guarded it this entire time.
You think he entered from the outside after having escaped? Still, he vanished and the Sekimeiya is still here.
Show me.
Shiro went ahead and raised the curtain, which had fallen by itself at some point. As we see, the Sekimeiya was behind the glass.
No way. Did you two put it
But
inside?
glass!
Yes, a long while ago.
Was it in the farthest room back in hallway B? B6?
Yes.
Is it me? I think it's me.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought about it again. The origin of that Sekimeiya still didn't make any sense. We found it inside the drawer of a cabinet. Where?
First, it was on the floor. We used it, but when we came back, we couldn't find it. Then, we found it inside a drawer in the same room.
Huh, I see. It teleported you there after you used it. I get it.
How did you know we'd find it in that room?
I just remembered that it could have been there. Now, let me pass.
What?
Move away.
Do you want the Sekimeiya? Do you have the key?
Shut up and move away.
Sai smashed.
I couldn't decipher his intent. His voice had changed completely, and he sounded as if he were the present threat, as if we were the present threat instead of him, keeping him away from the Sekimeiya.
You just wanted to kill me. Why would we let you use the Sekimeiya?
Are you really this dense? I have a knife.
That's a fair point. Are you
Yeah.
gonna kill us if we don't step aside?
Yes.
No determination was put into that threat. For some reason, his murderous voice and expression had gone away.
Where did you even get that knife? Did you kill Kate in Arena?
No, I haven't killed anyone.
No, why? You have a knife, which means you used it to kill Arena. You're trying to trick us, aren't you? You used the Sekimeiya to escape the tower, and then you entered again through the storeroom with that knife that you brought from the outside. You traveled from the hallway B room, which is how you knew that we'd find the Sekimeiya, or that we'd found the Sekimeiya there. The state we saw Akuro in. Was it your doing?
Regarding where I found this knife, I just did. I'm not gonna tell you where, but I found it inside this building. Poorly hidden.
And you mean to tell us that we never found it before?
Listen, here's a good question for you. I've seen Kate and Arena's corpses. If I'd killed them, how come there's no blood on my clothes?
It's me.
Who is it?
I think it's me, yeah. I was taken aback. He was right. Blood would have splashed onto the killer's clothes after killing both of them, but size were completely clean.
Suddenly a needle pierced my heart when I remember something. The Shiroya would change clothes.
That doesn't mean anything. If you use the Sekimeiya to travel back in time after you killed them, a point at which your clothes were still clean would have been reconstructed, and the stained ones would have disappeared forever.
She's right. You could have easily gotten rid of them like that.
Heh, that's wrong.
What is?
What
That's
you just
wrong.
said is wrong. However, I didn't have to get rid of my clothes, as I didn't kill anyone.
What exactly are we wrong about?
As I said before, telling you anything wouldn't be smart.
Were we wrong? About what? His clothes still had very vague traces of the smoke on them. If you had traveled outside the town and didn't enter from the storeroom, there would have been no smoke on them. Was that wrong as well?
I didn't know how to object. And after Kate and Aruna died, it was unlikely anyone had activated the Sekimeiya. How had it appeared inside the drawer? Either it had teleported there, or someone had left it inside. Going off the clumsily shut drawer, the latter sounded a lot more plausible. However, the drawer has still been shut, so nobody could have traveled after leaving the Sekimeiya there. The window for that explanation was very tight. It had to have happened before that point, or after the present time, if the Sai we're talking was the result of a travel that hadn't been yet happened. In addition, we couldn't rule out the possibility that the Sekimeiya had been taken out of the cabinet, used and placed back inside. Anyway, I wouldn't want to kill you too now since there's more stuff I want to think about, but I still get out of my way if I were you though.
You definitely have the key for the cabinet, right? You took it from the bedroom before escaping. Does that mean that Akira never had it? Doesn't sound as if you two had a great relationship despite you leaving together.
Atsuki, overcome your stupidity and move. Do you want to put her in danger?
I don't move either. Giving the Sekimeiya to you can't be a good idea no matter what.
But I have a knife, for the love of God. You were running and scared out of your minds before. Where did those balls come from?
At this point, I'm pretty sure that you don't intend to use it.
Sai's lips curved into a grin. Then he kneeled and left the knife on the floor.
Alright, let's play your game then.
What game?
You two don't understand anything. You think you do, and it's laughable. Right. I don't want to use my knife because overpowering you physically right now would be a loss. I'll have to go one step farther and show you how pathetic your resistance is.
Without abandoning his unsettling grin, he dashed out of the room toward hallway B. Uh-huh? I didn't understand anything, but Sai had a plan. Given what had happened the previous time, I hesitated to chase after him, but I immediately realized that that was a mistake. To prevent him from running out of our sight, I sprinted toward the door and glanced at the hallway.
Before I got there, the loud noise of a door being slammed invaded the entire hallway. When I finally looked, I saw a bunch of closed doors with no indication of which one had created the noise. He's definitely inside one of them. There's no way he had no time to get the hallway C or the lobby. Going off his words, I would have thought that he'd create that noise and lure us out and make us think that he was still in the hallway. But that couldn't be it. The brief window of time he had meant that he was definitely in one of the rooms.
He must think we'll search for him, but he has something in mind. Do you want this just in...
I understood her proposition, but I declined it. If he wanted to harm us, he would have done so just now. He wants to trick us somehow.
How? He's in one of the rooms, so how would he be able to do anything?
His goal was clearly to open the Sekimeiya cabinet, so there's a very simple way. Seems he understands how the Sekimeiya works better than us, and it's still possible another one exists. If he entered the room where he knew the other Sekimeiya was, he could have gone back to the past. Maybe he thought both of us would chase behind him, and he could immediately enter the event room from hallway A. That's why it should be fine if you stay here, looking at the hallway. I'll open the doors while you make sure Sai doesn't leave and nobody enters from the other side.
Inferno.
I know what I mean.
Okay.
He's so bad. I'm gonna kill this man.
She walked back and closed the hallway A door, making her sudden arrival much slower. Then she nodded, knowing you couldn't just ignore him.
Be careful though. He dropped the knife so that we'd follow him, knowing that we'd never do that if he still had it. He sounded pretty confident, and knowing Sai, he's got some plan.
I know, I'll be careful, but he still has to be here. It's important that we find him, even though he gave it to us, we still have his knife. If we find him, we can keep him in one place until we're out of here.
7.
Right. She agreed. I stepped out of the room, glancing around me as I put my shoes on. One of the closed doors hid Sai behind it. I was sure about that. Given the short time he'd had, it was also likely he hadn't gone to any room on the extremes of the hallway. However, I started with those. On full alert, I turned the doorknob of the cleaning room and pushed the door open.
The empty space came into view, still missing the cart that used to occupy much of it. I knew he could have used the Sekimeiya to escape, so I briefly searched around for it. There were some shovels and buckets, but I doubted something as big as the Sekimeiya could have been hidden. However, before giving up, I saw something. On top of a shelf, there was a key. Surprised, I jumped to grab it. I opened my hand to see a small key I hadn't seen before, so I put it in my pocket. I don't get it. This room has been searched before with the intention of finding the Sekimeiya, right? How come this key was never found? It was no time to wonder that, so I exited as soon as I determined nothing else was hidden out of sight.
Room in front of me, B6, was where we'd found the Sekimeiya. I entered it and looked in every cabinet and drawer. All of them were empty. Then, as soon as I set foot into the staff room, I remembered that a complete search couldn't be performed. But if Sai could have opened one of the lockers... Wait, no, that's fine. They can't be locked from the inside,
no.
although they're
Oh my
they're
god.
big enough to contain a person. Sai had the brilliant idea to hide in one and must currently be unlocked. If he had hidden a Sekimeiya inside one, he must have unlocked it to activate it. That means that after traveling, it would have remained unlocked.
I had to try it open every single one of them. The higher compartments had 3 narrow slits, and I could barely put my fingers through it. I used to try to drag the doors towards me, sure that they'd open if they were unlocked. One locker opened, no one's. Only hooked holes inside and made sure its pockets were empty. After dark, no more doors budged. Not here either. Unless he used the Sekimeiya and then teleport itself away, like he said it might have, might have happened earlier.
I entered the following crystal room, and after the same quick search, neither Sai nor the Sekimeiya had been found inside. From the event room, Shiroya let me know that nothing had happened on her end. She was looking at hallway B to prevent Sai's escape while paying very close attention to the door behind her. Perhaps Sai could enter from it at any time. Make it closer to the cabinet than Shiroya, faster than Shiroya, and then overpower her. However, there was no way that Words! And then overpower her. However, there was no way that what he was hoping for. That was what he was hoping for, as he had that opportunity when he had a knife. What the fuck is the sentence? Next, I entered
Bro
room
cannot
B4.
read.
I can't read, bro. It exuded a sinister aura, exhibiting Nami's and Erena's deaths. Trying to ignore the sudden heartache, I looked through every cabinet where Sai or the Sekimeiya could have been. As usual, they were all empty.
Just 3 more. We have to find something in one of these. I continued by entering the room on my left. At first glance, it was under an empty crystal room where nothing of importance had occurred. After I'd looked through every cabinet, that sensation hasn't changed again. Yet again, a few spare gems were all I'd be able to find inside them. Nothing changed in the next one. It was full of uninteresting cabinets storing nothing but air and gemstones.
There's only one more. Could it be that we left the right one for the end?
Shiroya looked unsure. She was constantly looking behind her while giving Sai no time to escape hallway B.
Always see.
I opened the door and stepped into the last crystal room. Nothing appeared different from the others. To prevent a sudden attack, I began getting used to immediately looking behind the doors. That first step was completed without an issue. Those cabinets were the single remaining places where Sai could have been. Starting from the right one, I uncovered their lids one by one, progressively narrowing down the last options. I opened the last one, and it was finally confirmed. Sai hadn't been anywhere. Feeling defeated, I went back to hallway B and rejoined Shiroya.
I feel like a small earthquake happened just now. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Bro Battle Diver played Sekimeiya.
It's fine.
Base. I don't get it. There's not much he could have done.
He said the Sekimeiya could teleport itself after being used. That might be why he didn't find it.
But do you think that'd be what he did? I mean, I've searched enough to be sure that he wasn't in any of these rooms, but there might be a very good spot I've missed where he could have hidden the Sekimeiya. But why would he do that? Is his goal really to get his hands on the Sekimeiya in the cabinet where he knew where another one was? And was his plan simply to use it, lure it out while he trusted his hiding spot and entered the event room from hallway A? There's no way, right?
Probably not. He must have known one of us would stay here.
Yeah, he left his knife behind to make us chase after him. There's no way he thought both of us would.
You think he might have had time to go to the hallways to hallway C or the lobby?
He wasn't very fast when he was chasing us, and I doubt he faked his speed just for this. I suppose we can't completely rule it out, though. But I didn't hear his footsteps in the distance.
Seven.
Is it? I think so. It's 7. Yeah.
Yeah, it is 7.
Yeah,
It is literally me right now. Whatever Sai had been
Yes, sir.
planning, we had to stop it. He might have given up on killing us, but nothing guaranteed that he hadn't simply held off on it after realizing something.
we need to search hallway A, but the lobby and hallway C are still a problem.
Thanks for the 5 bits, kind stranger. We didn't get any bits, I'm just joking.
Ow. We need to search wait here, watching over this hallway and the other door like you were doing. I'll be back in a second.
1 second.
Okay.
It has been a second.
It has been 1 second, and he's immediately back. Let that sink in. I took off toward the lobby. Nobody was there, and I made sure to check that Sai wasn't behind the columns and the couch. It was unlikely he'd decided to hide in the mechanical room, but I had to look. I opened the door and headed down the stairs. It was going to be hard to conclude that nobody was hiding with the provided light, but I had to do it. At least, I felt I didn't have to be scared of sudden physical attacks.
What's it? Okay. After some time, I was able to conclude that nobody was hiding, and I didn't see the Sekimeiya either. By the way, can you guys hear my fan?
No.
Can you guys hear
Okay,
my
cool.
microphone echo?
No.
I walked back up knowing what I'd do next.
7.
I thought
He is
Was
so
that 2?
bad.
That was 2.
Instead of joining Shroya through hallway B, I entered hallway A and opened the door to the event room. I'm so good.
I startled her, but she quickly realized it was me.
Wait, don't come over. The lobby is empty, and from here I can see hallway A, the event room, and the ways to the other floors. Do what I did from the other side. Check the bathrooms and come here through hallway A. You do that, we'll have successfully isolated this hallway, and we'll be able to make sure nobody else enters from floor 2.
Alright, that's a good idea. She disappeared from my view, walking toward hallway C. For some seconds, I did what she'd been doing earlier, keep track of the event room and the hallway simultaneously.
As soon as she appeared from hallway C, I could stop focusing on the event room because nobody could have been behind us. I knew not to lower my guard though, given Sai's evident confidence. I saw her try to open the elevator door, but it wasn't there. Then she sprinted towards me.
He wasn't in the bathrooms. I didn't find the Sekimeiya either.
So if he's still on this floor, he has to be inside a room in this hallway. We'll do the same thing then.
Is it me?
It's Big Fat.
Yeah, so me. My bad. I'm chewing. Soraya came to my side where she would stand while I entered every remaining
Are
room.
you the rumored Anji player Ooey Gooey Chewy Snickers?
What?
From EVO 2023, top 24 Anji player. Ooey Gooey Chewy Snickers. That's his name. He's my favorite Anji.
There was a someone who played I think it was Ruby and Yang at Evo, for BB tag, and he'd eat gummy bears before every match.
Based. Anyway,
Inferno.
Okay. That was until sound made us turn around.
alright. What were you doing over there? Searching for me? Next to the cabinet, Sai stood, the Sekimeiya between his hands. He hadn't teleported yet, and he was covering his skin under his shirt. With a smile, he closed the glass. He spun the glass and let go of the curtain.
What did you just do?
Let me make something. My dear Americans, let me be clear. If you try to approach me, I'll touch it immediately. And I'll disappear. Even though I'd go very shortly back in time, that's all I need.
All you need for what? You'd lead the Sekimeiya with us.
I don't care about that. I definitely thought about what I'm doing, so don't worry.
Even though it wasn't visible, as soon as he'd gotten the Sekimeiya out of the cabinet, it must have started to build up time and energy. I was able to see the cabinet key in his underhand, explaining how he'd been able to get the Sekimeiya out so easily.
What's with those faces? Are you that surprised to see me again? Don't you love me that much, Atsuki?
Don't be silly. You weren't in hallway B. You probably just traveled from the future and arrived someplace I'd already investigated.
But I didn't do that at all. I haven't touched Sekimeiya once since I last talked with you.
I'm drinking. Okay. Don't lie, you had the other Sekimeiya hidden somewhere. You activated it to go back to the past. Then in the future, you'll touch it again and you'll appear in one of the hallway B rooms I just investigated. Maybe you just traveled some seconds in the past from one room to the other, making it all more simple. Am I wrong?
Didn't I just say it? Yeah. I also just said that what my plan relies on. I must go back to the past, but I don't need to go too far. If I had another Sekimeiya hidden, what would the point of using this one be? I would just go back to the past with the other one I have, right? This is an actual question. As you say, I know where the another Sekimeiya is. Why would I not simply use that one?
I don't know, but enlighten us. How come you weren't anywhere if you didn't use the Sekimeiya? Oh, are you just trying to be funny? You said you hadn't touched the Sekimeiya, but you simply caught up in the range of travel. In the range of a travel. Okay, you knew you'd create after traveling,
Yeah,
right?
The
So you
Sekimeiya
didn't
has
actually
a
touch it.
the
Yeah,
Sekimeiya has an AOE.
Yeah.
That
I-
needs to be nerfed.
I see. Next patch it'll be nerfed.
Yeah.
The next chapter. The next chapter is never, by the way. Chapter 2 never. You just jumped 10 steps too far, Atsuki. It's baffling how easy it is to trick you. I really just relied on a trick I felt could work, which you might discover eventually.
What?
I don't feel like telling you. Take my word for it, though. Just trust me, bro. I did not travel with the Sekimeiya.
There's no way. You weren't in the hallway B. You could only escape by traveling to the past.
Aren't you missing a really easy way I could have escaped?
Huh.
Fine, I'll tell you. I don't need inter-car cooperation any longer.
What?
Sorry, Shrui, I'm nullifying our deal. Atsuki deserves to know what happened. It was simple, Atsuki. The first room you went to was the cleaning room, right? You were close. I was in the staff room. The moment you entered it, I left. In the hallway, Shiroya winked at me and let me escape. I feel too bad keeping you in the dark, honestly.
What are you talking about? Why would I let you go?
Vain and ignorance, huh? That's okay. You can keep lying to him for all I care.
You're not going to trick me, Sai. You used the Sekimeiya in some way.
As if I'd ever side with you. You're a horrible person.
Yeah, I tell him,
Hurts.
Troyo.
It really hurts. I really thought we had something going. I'm kidding, of course. I just used my invisibility cloak. Now I'll peace out and appear somewhere in the past. After I do what I need to do, I'll show up again. So you won't have to wait too long to wait for me. From your perspective, I'll probably enter the door as soon as I disappear. I bet a future version of you is waiting in hallway B for his cute henchman kiss you in the mouth.
Stop. What do you even need to do? You said you didn't necessarily need to travel too far back. Why not?
Perhaps you'll get something right for once if you keep thinking. I can definitely wait a little more.
I have no idea. 7 go.
7 go.
Sure. He put the cabinet key in his pocket, signaling that he could use his free hand at any time to activate the Sekimeiya.
I'm not saying that. Big fat go.
Do you want me to say it?
I can't.
Thank you.
We can't let him travel.
I wanted to say it, fuck. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
Continue.
Alright. We can't let him travel. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he has to go a few minutes back in time. He might need it to escape from us in hallway B. That must be what we're missing. He's just trying to mess with my head by accusing Shiraya. But if that's the case, is there a point in trying to stop him? He already escaped, so he's guaranteed to succeed. Wait, no, what am I thinking? When he took off towards hallway B, his foot was already attached to Sekimeiya. He has another reason to use it, no matter what it is. It's still possible that the travel he's about to perform will let him not be found, though. When I looked at Choroya's eyes, she was at my right, and silently she communicated to me that we had to stop him. Tried to kill me and had been holding a knife. Whatever his intentions were, we had to assume they were good.
No more heroes? Sorry, questions.
We stood looking at each other. No matter how much he waited or what he said, he would never be at risk.
I'm all ears. I might just go already, though.
Wait,
Inferno?
Oh, is it me?
Gay
Yeah.
Ferno, gay fire?
Okay. I didn't know what to say. I was trying to think of a way out to get the upper hand.
Thank you, Safe Ferno, Gex fire. Nothing?
The seconds had stopped ticking. Most of it had been filled with silence, or this adventure was just too significant.
why are you not activating it?
Throw me your guesses. Why am I not activating it? I had fun figuring my stuff out, but it's better if I can see how ignorant you still are.
Why is he not activating? Since he didn't care about traveling truly to the past, but what else could it be?
He is waiting for us to, gamble with the information we have, like make like a guess about what's going on.
He's waiting for us to kiss him.
Going once, that's
Yeah.
going twice. Yet again, the silence kept passing while Sai looked unworried, ready to touch the Sekimeiya at any moment. Why are you so tense? I'm doing this to take care of one little thing. You have no way to stop me, so instead of trying to do that, you can keep showing me how much you don't get. I can assure you, I'll accomplish what I want. So relax a bit. When I disappear, I'll show up immediately, and I won't try to do anything to the Sekimeiya. Until then, though, I'm not in a hurry.
What the hell do you want?
Don't you want to keep begging for my knowledge? I'm sure you're curious about a bunch of things.
You're the one who keeps refusing the answer. I bet you're trying to feel really smart.
Right, I'm so smart that I turned myself on. That's true, though. I suppose it's not fair if I won't answer anything. Remember at the beginning? I had no issues sharing my thoughts with you, but that changed at one point. There is no way you're dense enough to not know when.
What would Sekimeiya maybe travel?
We found that we were next to a time travel device, yes. Then, keeping everything to myself became the smarter option. I had not in any way suspected what the Sekimeiya would be capable of, but I was just expecting something to occur. I thought I'd have to be very perceptive to understand whatever could be going on, but everything happened in front of our eyes.
What are you expecting? Zin to attack?
Yeah, but that was fairly obvious. However, I suppose I came across traces of the Sekimeiya some time ago.
What?
That's my answer.
Aw.
You were complaining I wasn't giving you any, so you have something to decipher if you please. That's a lot more fun than being straightforward for no reason.
Then tell me, why did you try to escape? Why'd you try to kill me and then stop?
It's not like I understand everything. I'm partly humoring you for the hell of it, but I'd also like to hear what you think. For old time's sake, give me your best deductions. Why do you think?
I told you that I had no idea. Hearing that I didn't know why you were chasing us seemed to be what made you stop. So you might have thought I'd done something.
If you're really telling the truth, that's enough of an answer. I suppose I have to think of it as a cryptic response from my point of view. I thought you'd overstepped, but it seems I was the one who had. You have no idea what I'm talking about. I understand, and it's great. I promise there's some meaning behind that, but don't think I'll be stupid enough to tell you anything undesirable. Now, riddle me this, Batman. I thought about it a little, and I don't understand what you said regarding Akuro. He came back to the bedroom and opened the drawer with his key, which was later left in the original drawer.
So you really grabbed it when you were chasing us? You want to trap us in the bedroom?
This is very confusing. Shut up for now. What exactly did he say, and how did he escape?
Said he didn't remember having escaped before. Then he left again, probably the same way you did.
I left a lot of information purposely. I didn't think he'd use the same method, but there's no way I'd give him an accurate response.
But where was the key after he escaped? You retrieved it at the end and were able to open the door, so he didn't leave it outside, right? That's very intriguing. I just glossed over it when you mentioned his reappearance, but I'm not certain what to think anymore.
Forgot to do my voice line.
It is
Oh.
how it
Okay, go ahead.
is. But I'm not certain what to think anymore. When you let him enter, you made sure he didn't have a key on his person, right?
Of course, we're not that stupid.
Then, there was only one way he could have disappeared.
He would let us know he wouldn't continue, but he must have been talking about the Sekimeiya. Where did you get this knife?
No cryptic answer needed. I was honest earlier.
You just found it, right?
Good memory.
I wanted to ask what he'd said regarding Shiraya's fate, but I couldn't bring myself to with her next to me.
Are you done?
I'll repeat an earlier question. What the fuck are you trying to do now?
I'm just finishing off your ignorance.
What?
How did I know you'd respond with a stupid sounding what?
What?
Did you not understand what I'm purposely being unclear? Being told the answer is no fun. I'm sorry if you disagree.
Why would I even assume you're not being misleading?
Why would you assume that? Naturally, you should keep it in mind, but understanding what I'm saying and to then decide whether to trust it or not is what I advise.
Are you not going to test the Sekimeiya?
Are you really eager to see me disappear? Do you hate me that much? I will. Don't worry. It's been 11 minutes already, so I'd have no problem leaving now.
Where were you? Why did you not show yourself until now?
I was here, searching for you.
There's no way you didn't see us for so long.
Well, it's not my problem if you're not content with my answers.
It's 7.
Okay, I fell quiet again. I had no idea how to interpret his attitude, but I wouldn't refuse to ask more questions if he had some of his part to respond with.
Why did I not find you in hallway B?
Because you're incompetent.
Man, where were you then?
In hallway B.
Who killed Kate?
Don't know. Either Akro or Nana.
Who killed Arena?
Me. I'm just kidding, it was Ayla. I'm just kidding. It was Akro or Kate.
I stopped caring about his behavior. Additionally, I had found a reason to stall for time.
You perfectly remembered when we went to the attic to get the lithium battery, right?
Yeah, the one that the children mined? Of course.
How did you do that?
I said you're incompetent, but at least you're doing your best, unlike the others. That's my answer. I suppose it just appeared impressive from your point of view.
Okay, then who killed Naomi? Who's the culprit behind everything?
The culprit? Don't be silly. And I'm not sure why you're asking me this when I recall saying over and over that Kate did it.
Then why the fuck were there two Naomis?
That's a big one. I only have vague ideas, unfortunately, and none of that I'm willing to share.
You talk a lot, but you're not really saying anything. How did you escape the bedroom?
With this,
Inferno.
He looked down at
I'm
the second
counting, don't
man.
worry.
He looked at the second man, signaled that was his answer.
What was this blood on the floor? Whose is it?
no idea.
What about in the lobby? Should have been left when you were alone with Akiro.
You mean the one drop, right?
What else would I mean?
That's a great question, as you could only mean the one drop. We said I'd answer cryptically, right? If I'm right, that drop belongs to a person whose blood is not currently anywhere else, and they were one of the people who did not escape the addict's bedroom before Akro and I did. Currently, that person is alive and is found inside the shower. Furthermore, I estimate they're on one of the first four floors, standing up. So you're telling me it's Shiroya? Is that what this means?
Maybe, or like the future Shiroya.
Yeah, probably
The
future
different
Shiroya.
clothing Shroya.
Yeah,
I miss
Shiroya
the
with
old
different
Shiroya.
drip. And their names start with Shiroi.
Wait, hold on.
You have time to think.
Why would it be me? Did you actually see me?
This is the part where a lot of things get a little too confusing. I'm not fully certain about what I'm saying, but decently so. Nonetheless, what I said about your fate still stands. Fate stands, knight, or something.
Wait, stand.
And I'm much more certain about it. So, my condolences. It appears it won't be me who kills you, though.
Why are you saying this?
Because I have eyes. That might sound unfair, though. You do too. But you don't understand. That's what I don't quite get. Regardless, that's it. I'll touch the Sekimeiya and immediately appear from hallway B. I'll see you.
I actually have no idea. It's probably me. Before he could finish that sentence, Shiro and I dashed at him, reacting the way we'd prepared ourselves to.
What are you?
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, that's not me.
But yeah, of course we weren't going to stop him. We knew that he was slightly taken aback. But he had more than enough time to touch the Sekimeiya before we got to him.
You know what this whole thing was? This was like a Reddit moment. To be fair,
Yeah,
you
literally.
need to have a very high IQ to understand the Sekimeiya.
True.
Wait, unrelated. 7? They released the SMT4's OST on Spotify.
It's
Thank you,
Spain.
Atlas. Finally.
Thank you, Atlas.
Thank
Finally,
you,
good
Atlas.
song.
For doing something good for once in your fucking lifetime. Thank you for not disappointing us. Thank you very much. Anyway.
However, that wasn't the only goal we could strive for. Strive?
Strive?
Guilty. No, this is the second time. This is the second time that we're striving.
Ain't no way.
Alongside
That is
this,
bullshit blazing.
7, please check. Is this the second time this word strive has appeared?
Yes.
I think
It is
so.
only the second time so far in the whole script of the game. That's the first one. And this
Ain't
Oh,
is the
what?
second
no way.
one.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Alongside the story time, the range of the Sekimeiya had to be small, but if we could enter him before he touched him, we'd travel the same amount of time as him. Then, in the recent past, we'd have one more chance to stop or understand his actions.
Are we gonna con the AoE?
As soon as he realized that was our plan, his face showed the first sign of uncertainty. Then he rapidly moved his right arm to reach the Sekimeiya. Should have been futile. The room wasn't very big, and our sprint put us fairly close to him.
However, when his skin made contact with the Sekimeiya, his entire figure disappeared in an instant.
So, the future Shiroya is the one that caused those blood drips, I guess. Because, you know, I guess she changed her clothes because there was blood on them. Maybe.
It's Nain. We didn't get caught in the AoE.
Quite sad. They actually nerfed it this time. This is so sad.
They actually nerfed it.
Yeah, they literally lifted.
Amid the Sekimeiya turned gray, and when it hit the floor, the sound made it seem almost like it broken. I stared dumbfounded while it rolled around for some long seconds.
It's about to hatch.
Oh god, I guess we weren't fast enough.
You're not fast enough. You're not brave enough.
Huh?
7.
I turned to my side. Nobody was there.
Ain't no
Shiroya
way.
wasn't there. I spun the glass and saw that I
Ain't
was
no
alone
way
with the
he
powered up
spun.
Sekimeiya. What the fuck?
Misogynist
Did the
Sekimeiya.
range hit her? Why her but not me?
Misogynist Sekimeiya.
Is
I
this
stood still and imagined where the three of us had been. Could the range have only missed me? I think so. She was right at my side. She was at my right side, but directly faced Sai, unlike me. It didn't directly prove it, but it would have made sense if the range was circular, probably spherical.
I've been visualizing it that way already, and it seems like it fit. The range must have been small, so perhaps only she could have been in it. I didn't know how it worked. Maybe your entire body had to be part of the range, or maybe only being partly hit was enough.
Or could the reason have been another? What if I was encompassed inside, but for some reason I didn't travel? I was very lost, and I began to have a hard time working what had happened. Until then, the maximum of 2 people had traveled each time. Could that have been the maximum amount? Had I been excluded for another reason, maybe? Bro, that second bit is literally racist.
Literally, that's what I'm saying. Misogynist, bro.
misogynistic, man?
But why is nothing happening? Other than travel to the past, why haven't they arrived already? They must be somewhere.
That was what Sai had said. A version of himself might have been waiting in hallway B. I approached the door and looked through it. I saw a handful of open doors that I'd left that way, but not any sign of life. I turned around and looked at hallway A instead. While most of the doors were closed in its case, I still couldn't see anyone. Could something have happened that's preventing them from reappearing? They have to be in the tower, right? I walked up to the Sekimeiya and kneeled next to it. Then, I placed my right hand on it and felt its cold and smooth surface. Once again, it had powered off after a travel, but it hadn't teleported itself away. I waited. I knew something must have been about to happen, so I stood still, glancing back and forth between the 2 doors and trying to shake away the bitter taste the conversation with Sai had left in my mouth. However, nothing was changing. I was getting worried, but I didn't know what to do. After some minutes of standing up, I began to feel very uncertain.
Suddenly, Sekimeiya had turned white. I'd estimate about 5 minutes might have passed since Sai and Shiroya had traveled, and the Sekimeiya had probably been storing energy for close to 15 before their travel. I looked at it instantly and had an idea. Could having touched it while in the gray state have prevented it from teleporting itself as soon as it had turned white? I couldn't think of much else if Sai had been right earlier. No, that doesn't make sense. When we traveled from the cleaning room, it fell into the buckets below the cleaning cart, and when the others found it, it was already white. Of course, I'd have to believe Sai's story to be sure, but nobody objected to it. I was really unsure about what to do. The silence had become unbearable. In just those 5 minutes, I couldn't understand why neither Sai nor Shiroya had returned. Like Sai had done, I put my hand under my sleeve and grabbed the Sekimeiya. Then I placed it inside the cold cabinet that Sai had left unlocked and screwed the glass shut. I didn't lock it. I just felt the need to not leave it outside, and I knew Sai was the one who had the key anyway. As for word, I didn't know what to do. I felt a pressing atmosphere, as if I was the sole remaining being in that immense building.
Is it possible that they appeared outside the tower? Even though the distance traveled must have been short and the replicated location is an entirely different deal. Maybe that's what Simon when he said that he didn't care about how far he'd make it to the past. If he knew he'd appear outside regardless and was lying about neither appearing from hallway B. But it can't be that. But it can't be that Sai's goals was to leave. He won't willingly walk away from all of this unless he learned something very important that would have changed his mind. If he wanted to escape, it must have been that he already planned to do it. He planned to do it eventually, to eventually re-enter through the storm. What about the other Shiroya? She could have still been here. Given the circumstances, her presence is tightly sealed inside the tower. There's no way she could have left through the storeroom since no handle could be reattached to the door, so opening it from the inside was pretty much out of question. Evil Sekimeiya to escape should have been equally hard, though. While she could have taken it out of the cabinet while she went to the attic. When we came back, we still found it locked within the cabinet. She couldn't have appeared outside the tower because she couldn't have left it locked again.
How much longer should we do this?
I don't know. It's up to you.
It's an hour and 25 minutes. We can play like 15, 20 more minutes, and then we can like call it a day.
Okay.
Frodo hates this game.
I hate everyone, everything.
Okay, I think you should kill yourself, young man.
I agree. I was just trying to reinforce the thought that I wasn't alone, as if it wasn't possible. What if she disappeared outside the tower and through the storm from the outside and left the door open to leave other places that Sekimeiya in the cabinet? Oh, the motives behind action has stopped mattering, so being sure about any detail has started to feel impossible. Excuse me.
You have hiccups?
Yes. The existence of the secret door made me anxious every time I thought about my situation. Not only that, not only did I not know what people were around, but I also couldn't be sure if they couldn't enter at any time. I had no way to know if the door led to the outside, if opening from the other side was possible, or if anyone would be able to enter without being seen. But only being able to hear my own breath, more empty minutes passed.
What could be
Some-
going on? Sai said he hadn't killed anyone, so could it be that the quote true culprit found them and that's why they haven't come? At some point, I realized how anxious I'd become. I didn't know whether to fear Sai, a different true culprit, or the sudden solitude.
I walked out to hallway B and began to take automatic steps toward the lobby. I'd been trying not to leave the Sekimeiya behind, but since I hadn't been able to let the proposition of being alone sink in, I succumbed to the need to wander around. I looked at the vast, empty lobby, and what felt like a metal ball started to make its way down my stomach. Every step I took was all I could hear.
When I entered hallway A, I grew sure that Sai and Shiroya must have escaped. That had to be the meaning behind Sai's words, but it was impossible to know if I'd see them again before 2100. Even the other Shiroya, whose existence seemed incredibly volatile, had hidden from me as her only action. Without a searching partner, anyone could stay out of my view if they so desired.
Me?
No, 3 screens, so that would be
Me.
Zen, yeah.
Yeah.
If we count the black one.
Sure. I continued to walk toward hallway C, not even trying to find anyone. When I completed the full lap, I stepped into the event room and let out a sigh full of emotions.
Jesus Christ.
I suppose that, if I am alone, it wouldn't be that bad. I would only have to wait 3 hours to see Shiroya again. But if it wasn't Sai, the killer still had to be here. And I don't know what Sai's plan was, but it could still be in motion.
One moment, I'm gonna be right back while I read this.
Once again, I stood still and waited, leaning against the wall while a few more minutes of silence passed. Isnane.
Okay, I'm back.
He's back.
I heard like a very loud sound, so that's why I want to check. I think
Yeah, it was
Sai is
me.
here.
Walked up to the cabinet and covered the curtain.
Sure.
I tried to use it.
Another choice?
Another
Anything
question, right?
Hmm?
It's gonna be another choice, probably.
Probably.
Maybe.
Shall we
Anything
start
could
at the
determine
choice?
the replicated location. Perhaps Sai knew that touching the Sekimeiya would bring him outside, so the same could apply if I do it now myself. It wasn't too bad of an idea. If anything had gone wrong for them, I might have been able to reproduce it with the purpose of understanding what had happened. I opened the glass and rolled the cold Sekimeiya to my shirt. I knew that I'd have to wait some time for it to gain energy, but it would only be a few minutes. Even if I couldn't conclude anything, I'd travel some time back so I could retrieve the Sekimeiya as soon as I disappeared. Out of the blue, I recalled something
Actually,
else.
this is Inferno.
Oh, you're right, it is.
Yeah.
Oh. Out of the blue, I recall something else. Quickly, I put my free left hand in my right pocket and took out the key. I found it the key just earlier high on the shelf.
Yeah.
Nothing on it indicated when it was full, as it looked like a simple key that could unlock any normal door. I kept giving it a good look. Isn't this
Fuck off, Inferno, gay fire. For stupid fire. Well,
You
stupid Inferno,
stupid
ace, hellfire, gay, stupid. Read it normally.
bro turned into Marie Persona 4.
I'm actually Yukari, thank you.
You query.
Query? Bigus!
I kept giving it a good look, sensing that something was about to come to me. Oh. Am I actually stupid?
Is
Real.
Atsuki stupid?
Why, is
Yeah.
why doesn't he just like spin the glass? Is he stupid?
It looks a lot like the one for Naomi's locker. That's what it is, even though the color is slightly different. I had no simple way to compare them since I got rid of the other one through the toilet.
I will stab your fucking mouth.
I remember that the locker might have been open while we've been in the attic. Could that have been the key to that mystery?
I shut myself in the staff room with the Sekimeiya since I wanted to spend a few more minutes out of the cabinet. I knew which locker was Naomi's, and as I thought, it was open. I attempted to insert the key in the keyhole and didn't fully go in.
When did they release the Nocturnal OST?
I don't know.
Me.
Probably as they released SMT4 OST also. Huh.
Oh no, it's 2020.
It's not the right one. It almost fits though. Does it open one of the others? Eager to find out, I left the Sekimeiya on the floor and began to insert every key in every locker. I started with the left ones and saw that a key would always enter partially. Some of them looked like they'd almost open, but I could never turn the key. I continued with the middle group and was met with the exact same result. I was about to sigh in disappointment, but when I tried to turn it after inserting in the last one of the rightmost set, I heard a sudden, sharp sound.
Akuro's corpse. Akuro's corpse.
Oh shit.
I thought you said Akaro's curse.
Curse of Akuro.
Yeah.
Smash!
Akuro was hiding in there all the time. I knew he would come here.
I knew you would come here, Atsuki. I will crush your skull. Mods. I'm crushing a soft thing.
Atsuki is like Marissa from Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. Atsuki? Akuro, you mean, right?
Yeah, Akuro, sorry.
No mercy. No remorse. Understanding its meaning, I dragged the metallic cover toward me and saw the interior of a new locker.
However, its contents were painfully similar to Naomi's. There was nothing in the highest compartment, and a winter coat hung in the main one. As the biggest difference, a pair of brown corduroy pants were folded on the bottom. Even though they didn't seem to be of much use, a phone could have been left in the closet. Clothes. I put the key back in my pocket, Crash grabbed the pants, and held them up in one hand while I felt them.
He was feeling the crotch.
Not only was there no phone, but every pocket was completely empty and clean, making it seem like the pants had been recently bought. I determined that they must have belonged to a considerably sized adult, probably male. Since clothes had been left in the locker, it was more than likely it belonged to a staff member who wore a uniform during work. I recalled Kate told us that the employee used the I recall that Kate told us the employees used the room to store personal objects and to leave their uniforms before heading off. There is no uniform in the locker, so everything indicated that the owner had to come to work that day.
So this is Kate's locker then.
Real.
Probably.
Yeah. I knew that I'd find the key in the cleaning room, but something just felt iffy about that, preventing me from jumping to conclusions. I folded the pants and put them back before I grabbed the heavy coat. It was pretty big, so I began to run my hand over its surface in search of anything I could find. Almost immediately, I took something from a pocket. It was a set of 4 keys with a dog-shaped keychain. I had nothing to use them for, and I
What's the
didn't
dog
recognize
doing?
any.
What's the dog doing?
What the dog doing? So I put them back in the pocket. I continued searching for anything else and shortly confirmed that every other pocket was empty.
Hank, no! Hank, take those keys, Hank! You need them, Hank! Hank!
I continued feeling the surface of the coat because something had prompted my attention. I didn't know if I had imagined it, but I thought it might have felt a very tiny bulge near the neck. I kept going over the same spot until I was sure that I had been right. Something very hard to respond was there, or to notice. I turned the cloth on and I saw that part of the neck area was covered by a different type of material. Put my finger under it and found that the 2 layers allowed for a narrow cavity. I drew up to the spot where I felt the bulge, trying to find it on the opposite side.
There it is. It felt cold and brown. With my thumb, I managed to grab it and drag it out. Oh, what the... Isn't this... a bug? That's what it looked like.
That's not how a bug looks like. I've seen insects before.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't look
true.
like...
Freeze!
That doesn't look like-
Stupid.
That's
It's
not a
kinda
bug.
stupid.
Why did Otsky say it's a bug? Is he stupid?
That's not a caterpillar.
Yeah, that's not a caterpillar.
That's the bug I know because I've been invaded by them.
Exactly.
He would know. Does he know though?
I never personally seen one, but it had a very similar shape to the one I've seen in television shows. It was circular and on the surface was what looked like a microchip. By adding the location where I found it, I could only recognize it was a spying bug. Is that them being monitored? Did Zenith plan to learn about the measures Ashia were taking against them? No, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Planted and clothes that are always left in his locker. Could it be the inverse then? That Ashia suspected they were part of Zin? 7.
Even though the events had morphed into something very nearly incomprehensible, I started from Ashia and Zin's battle. It was foolish to think Zin weren't involved in some way. And something had been cemented as reality. One of Ashia's staff members had been monitored. I'd already seen the interior of Kate and Naomi's lockers, and 2 staff members I was familiar with. Someone else must have owned that one. I looked at it closely, haunted by the truth behind it. Could someone have been hearing my movements in a completely safe space somewhere in Yushibana? If so, they might have realized the bug has been found. But it was unlikely it was being listened to at all times. I put the coat back in the locker, but I didn't reattach the bug to it, mainly because it looked tricky to do. Instead, I left it in one of his pockets, knowing that it'd be found by the police if I mentioned it to them. I glanced down at the Sekimeiya. Since I had the key to the new locker, I locked it inside and looked around this entire building for Shiroya. No, I shouldn't do that. This could be part of someone's plan.
How can it be that this key was never found in the cleaning room with how much we've searched the floor? Doesn't it look like obvious bait to make someone believe that they have a safe space to hide the Sekimeiya? If the culprit, or let's say Sai, found the key well hidden or had it somewhere, they could have duplicated it with the Sekimeiya. Then they left it in the cleaning room and hoped someone would take the bait and keep the Sekimeiya in a locker they also had access to. But it's alright. I intended to touch the Sekimeiya, so in the past I'd have time to search the building. That way I'd know for a fact nobody could take it in the meantime. I put my hand behind the cloth on my shirt and felt the Sekimeiya surface. As I thought, it had begun to heat up. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Sai had left it behind on purpose, which made his intentions feel impossible to understand. Since the time he'd escaped from the addict's bedroom, he must have learned a few key details and found some attainable goals. A sudden thought confused me. If the culprit had been using the Sekimeiya to escape our reach and had been responsible for all the deaths, why had they not targeted Sai?
Are they stupid?
Are they stupid? Is the culprit stupid?
no idea. But
No
thinking
way, the
that
club in
Sug's the killer
Zakuro?
didn't
I
fit
should have known.
guys. But thinking that Sai was the killer didn't fit very well either. Why had he spared my life earlier? Could he really have found a hidden knife we have missed? He'd even said it had been poorly hidden and that he overstepped. What the hell had that meant? Yeah, that's wrong. Sai's voice played in my head. It should sound more British. British. What
Why?
you two just said is wrong. I don't know, because he stabbed. Because he stabbed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I'm the British one. Sorry.
Fuck you, Inferno.
That had been in direct denial of Shiroya's claim. If you used the Sekimeiya to travel back in time after you killed them, a point in which your clothes were still clean would have been reconstructed, and the stained ones would have disappeared forever. Should I take his word at face value and accept that he knows better than us? Yes. What exactly is wrong about that? I could think of three different things. Might have been referring to the part where his clothes would have disappeared forever. Perhaps they would appear somewhere, but that didn't seem too likely. Maybe he really meant that the Sekimeiya couldn't have achieved that, but there's no way we were wrong. We know such a thing could have occurred because the keys to Naomi's locker is reconstructed in my pocket by traveling. Do you mean that under his own circumstances he never could have achieved that? Maybe he figured out what determines the replicated location. He knew that, given the way it worked, the Sekimeiya would have never have replicated a point in which his clothes were clean. Would that be it?
It was very hard to tell. I thought he existed the replay looking for something we find good about his mechanics and been pretty confident about it. As intentional to have been purely events titles appear to have superior knowledge, while in actuality we had been wrong. Is there any travel we know has occurred that directly denies our theory? I ran through every travel I know about, fairly inconsistency.
Chesibanwa Kurikasa. Alright, when I appeared in the security room and fell backward because the chair wasn't properly positioned for me to sit on it. The position where I appeared indicated that the replicated location must have been of me sitting on that chair, but I had never done that. Oh, and the recording too. Of course it's legitimate. We assumed it had been brought from the future. Well, there wasn't a big issue. The way we were thinking the Sekimeiya worked, well, doesn't make it that simple. In a month from now, someone would have to hold the same voice recorder. Then, farther in the future, that same person would have to go all the way back to today and have the time in which they held it as the replicated location. It's not reasonable to rule that out, but it complicates everything a lot more. But I can't just abandon that way of thinking about it. It can't be that you can bring any item you have to the past, or else the cleaning cart would have appeared with Shiroya in the attic. How could we be wrong? There's no way we are. We appeared in the attic exactly where it had been in prior to that point. That position was definitely based on a previous one, so we can't be completely wrong. However, there's a security room instance. Like I thought back then, that can't be a random location. Sitting in front of the computer, could it have been influenced by Kate's past position? Well, he was the one who sat on that chair before our travel. But why would this have mattered?
Sai had been right. Something about what he said was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. It could have been a minor detail or a major contradiction. I kneeled next to the Sekimeiya, ready to touch it. Sai had figured out a few things in a very short time, so I might have been able to do the same if I kept experimenting. The main purpose was to comprehend why Sai and Shiroya hadn't appeared, so I knew it was possible the travel wouldn't go smoothly. I was a bit hesitant and had to breathe deeply a few times. I'd been sharing every travel with Shiroya, so doing it alone like the very first time felt a bit imposing. I relaxed myself and let some more time pass. I estimated it might have been 15 minutes since I'd gotten the Sekimeiya out of the cabinet, so I was about to travel as far back as Sai and Shiroya had. Remembering the sound the Sekimeiya had made when it fallen to the floor, I realized that grabbing it before activating it was a bad idea. I stopped touching the floor with my right hand and approached the unmoving Sekimeiya, determined to travel once more.
Is that an ambulance?
Ain't no way.
Okay, should we stop here?
I think sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to stop, I feel like it's a good place to.
This is a good
Yeah.
place to stop. Wait for now. Why are you so bad at this video game?
What do you mean? I'm not playing. You are playing the game.
Oh yeah.
That is
Well,
true.
you are still bad because despite the fact that you're not playing, you're still bad somehow.
Literally, how? Please explain.
Chapter
I
1.
said so.
Chapter 1.
A chapter one. Bro, there are no other chapters.
There is no chapter 2. It's a
There is
lie.
no chapter 2. They made it up. It's a lie created by the fucking, I don't know, Illuminati or some shit.
It literally is not real.
Russian propaganda, guys. The KGB spread this out. There is no chapter 2.
Made up by the governments.
True, true. It is like the aliens in Area 51. They don't want you knowing the truth.
There are no aliens in Area 51.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think, Mr. Fed.
I don't know. How do you know that there's aliens there?
I made it up. Anyway, good
It's name.
streams, good streams, I believe. Yeah, the second I was about to finish it, someone came back to the viewership. That's pretty funny, I think. Anyway, GG's, good stream. I have a very funny new idea for the next one. I mean, I already
Yeah.
had it, but I forgot to make it for today. It is how it is. Pat left. Wrote
Big
us if
fan
he's...
is gone.
Why?
I'm so,
Oh, he's
I
back.
don't know.
He's back.
Back.
Yeah,
I
we
hit
are
the
so
wrong
back.
button. I was trying to open the sound board.
Bro, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Atlas actually did something good. Not only did they put up SMT4 on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
they also put SMT1, the Mega Drive, and the SNES version of the soundtrack, SMT2, SMT9, SMT4 and for Apocalypse, SMT8, and some bonus tracks for SMT3 and 5.
Okay, hear me
And,
out. When
and
are they
also,
gonna
and
put the
also
Trauma Center OST?
that too, bro. I want the Digital Devil Saga OST most of all.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
And also, there's apparently Soul Hackers 2 is also apparently up on
Solo
Spotify.
Hackers do blah. Who cares about that game?
Who
Blah.
cares about being true?
Anyway, GG's. It was fun.
Soul Hackers 2 more like Mid Hackers 2.
Shin Megami Tensei more like Shin Mid Tensei. Am I right?
Sleepy.
SMT is that what stands for Super Mario Tennis?
Yes.
It stands for Sekimeiya. The Sekimeiya, the SMT.
It
Sekimeiya
stands
the.
for shitting my
Yeah.
T-shirt. That's what
My
it stands.
t-shirt.
Shitting my T-shirt. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Anyway, I'm gonna stop streaming now. Do you guys have anything you want to say to the camera?
I am
I'm
gay.
sleepy.
I love men.
I am gay.
Same. Matt, do you want to say anything?
Whack.
Whack.
Based. I respect that. Anyway, GG's.